This was my day as a personal chef in Beverly Hills. First things first, I want you to look at my chives. I started the marinara for the eggplant parm. Simply sweat down some diced onions and olive oil and a bit of salt. After a few minutes, when the onions have softened, I add in some crushed garlic and tomato paste. This is something I've always got to reiterate. Please caramelize your tomato paste. Give it time to caramelize those sugars and to get rid of that harsh metallic raw tomato flavor. It makes an absolutely massive difference. Also be careful to not let it burn. Then add tomato passata, which is basically just pureed tomatoes. I season it with Italian seasoning and let that cook for as long as possible. If you're wondering why these eggplants are so skinny, that's because these are Japanese eggplants. They're skinnier, have less seeds, and tend to be less bitter than regular Italian eggplant. You can probably skip this step, but I like to do it. I toss them with kosher salt and let them sit overnight to pull out any excess moisture. And the next day, I had some old chives and garlic chives, so I trimmed them, blanched them, and shocked them in ice water to preserve that color. Squeeze out any excess water, then cut them into smaller strands and blend with avocado oil to make a super flavorful green chive oil. And I put it through a fine mesh strainer and just let that slowly go through. And then a second time through a paper towel. If I was smarter, I would have bought some cheesecloth, but unfortunately, I'm not that smart. Now this marinara has probably simmered for a combined 4 hours at this point, so it's basically ready to go. But I did add a bit of baking soda to lower the acidity, salt to season, and sugar to sweeten. My clients do like their eggplant parm on the sweeter side. I also made them their favorite dessert, the brownie cake. I'll make a separate video for this one, but honestly, I'm not that much of a baker. After an hour of cooking, I just finish it with a handful of fresh basil off heat and let that wilt into the sauce. I don't really like cooking fresh herbs. I find that it changes their flavor. Then for my least favorite thing in the world, breading. I seasoned my panko breadcrumbs with Italian seasoning and grated Parmesan cheese. I won't bore you with this part, it's just flour, egg wash, then panko. I put them on a rack, spray them down with olive oil, and bake them until golden brown and crispy. To arrange the eggplant parm, I just layer sauce, crispy eggplant, parm, more sauce, mozzarella, and repeat. Cover with aluminum foil and bake in the oven. Then for the last 10 minutes, I remove the aluminum foil and let that cheese get golden brown. We're about 2 hours out until dinner, so it's time to prep the lobsters. I stick my spoons in through the stomach and out the butthole so that they stay straight when I blanch them. Boil them for 90 seconds just to set the outside and shock in ice water to stop the cooking. I want these basically raw on the inside. Then remove the spoons and gently remove them from the shells. For the beurre blanc, I sweat some minced shallots in butter, deglaze with white wine, cook off that alcohol, and start whisking in cold butter to create an emulsion. A little bit at a time so it doesn't get too cold, and throwing in butter if it starts getting too hot. If you go to either extremes, you'll end up with a thin, oily, broken sauce. I bag the lobsters with the beurre blanc and vacuum seal it. I hold it up like this so that it will seal without all that butter pouring out. Now that the guests have arrived, that means it's caviar time. 2 ounces of that Osetra caviar per couple. While they're snacking on that caviar, I pull out the eggplant parm, which is now beautifully golden brown, so that it can rest for 10 minutes. After those 20 minutes, I drain the lobsters and get ready to plate. I finish the beurre blanc with lemon juice to brighten it up, plenty of those chives, and I whisk in that chive/garlic chive oil. Spoon some marinara on the bottom of the plate, nice hefty chunks of that eggplant parm, butter poached lobster tail, pan roasted asparagus, and healthy spoonfuls of that lemony herb beurre blanc on top of the lobster and asparagus. Off they go. And finally for dessert, that warm fudgy brownie cake with some vanilla ice cream. Y'all want that recipe for the brownie cake?